Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Access Institute video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview, and I'm here with Mason Dickinson. Mason, how are we?
I'm good, thank you. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fit. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the channel, mate.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure.
Great.
My pleasure.
So am I right in saying you're a 22-year-old super welterweight who's 1-0?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, great. Well, if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, I'm going to start off with the question which I always like to start off with, and that is, why did you start boxing?
Well, when I was younger, my dad's always been a fan of boxing, and he kind of introduced me to it. So when I was about 7 or 8, he took me around a few gyms just to see what it was like. And at the time, I preferred football, so I stuck to that. And then, so there's I was back at primary school. This was about 10 years old, and then doing after school club non-contact boxing. So I joined that, and that it kind of that's when my love for the sport started, really. And then I realised I was quite good at it. I left my football. I joined the boxing. I joined a proper gym, and it's all gone from there, really. All gone from there.
Great. And so, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
Yeah, so the first amateur fight was a struggle to find, actually. So I had about 5 pull-outs, really disheartening.
Right.
And eventually we found one, and it was just nice and local in Sheffield, my own town, just for me. So I had a good crowd, and I actually lost on a split decision. But you know, being a first defeat was heartbreaking for me at the time. But looking back, I've learned so much from that alone. And it was your typical amateur fight. It was a big scrap, big turnout actually. So it was pretty intimidating for the first one, but yeah, prepared me for a long ride with the amateur fights.
Definitely. And so, what was your kind of biggest achievement from the amateurs?
I would say probably my first box cup tournament I ever entered. It's a basic format. You fight day after day after day if you get through. And it was a struggle, to be honest. I've never done that format before. I got through Friday, beat that on unanimous, I believe. The Saturday was semi-final. I got through that on a split decision. And at that point it was a struggle because it was another scrap. So at this point I'm exhausted, I'm tired. And on the Sunday I come up against an Irish lad, and he travelled over from Ireland just for this tournament. And I believe he had about 89 amateurs. At the time I only had about 8. And actually lost. I did lose in that final, but I said that's when I really started learning, and my mindset whole changed for the sport, because I do believe in amateurs you've got to take it on the chin. You're going to take it to heart, but it is the losses you learn from, as cliche as that is. So it all went from there. And from then I really appreciated the format and the sport of boxing. Yeah, it all went from there. And I felt myself mature from every fight since then, and it's made me the fighter I am today.
Definitely, that's good to hear. And so, how many amateur fights did you end up racking up?
I believe it was 28 bouts. Nice split in the middle record, 14-14. I weren't nothing special, but I believe a lot of them were controversial. And then once I turned senior 18, because I've been boxing amateur since I was 11 years old. Once I turned 18, then my performances really picked up, and I felt myself getting stronger, and I've been learning so much since then. I can say out of the 12 years I've been boxing now, I've learned the most in these last 3 years, and since then, people really noticed my natural talent, what I've learned, and the team around me, they're making the most of that. And it's got me to where I am.
Definitely, that's great. And so, kind of, why did you end up turning professional when you did?
Yeah, so I turned professional when I was 21. Just last year I had my debut. So a lot recently in the last couple of years, people saying, you're ready for it. And I felt ready to go. As soon as I turned 18, I felt ready to turn pro. It's been my goal, basically, since I started. But I always felt I didn't want to get rushed into it too much, because I've known, especially on the local circuit, a lot of fighters turn pro as soon as they turn 18. and that's when they've not fully matured, so they make mistakes. I didn't want to follow down that same road. And then I think it was beginning of last amateur season, my coach turned around and went, you know, you are ready now, we can see that style within you. And it has always been said through amateurs, my style does suit to professional boxing. I do love a brawl, but I do believe boxing is my best style. I mean, I can adapt, but yeah. So I've always been suited to the professional game, I think, and yeah, now I'm ready to show it.
Definitely, and I mean, so far you showed it in that professional fight you had, and so in your opinion, how well do you think you performed in your debut?
I was pleased with myself. Out of 10, I'd probably give it, you know, an 8. All my team were happy with it. Watching it back, I've already learned a lesson from it, you know, and I can. In this camp I'm currently in, because I've got another bout booked in for the 18th of February. I'm already working on these mistakes I've noticed and my team have identified for me. So we can look back on that and we can work on it, yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The atmosphere more than anything for my first pro. You know, it was incredible. But I felt it's the most natural I've ever felt in the ring. And you know, I feel at home in the pro game. Especially in that bout, you know, I was against a tough opponent, Berman Sanchez. He's won 30 wins, 32 losses, I believe. So it was a huge threat, really, for a debut. And knocking 22 out of them, especially, I knew I had to keep my distance. I had to box, and I really had to, you know, give him a boxing lesson, as my coach says. So that's what I did, and I was able to display my abilities.
Definitely, you were indeed. And so is that kind of mindset of always wanting to take the tough task kind of always been with you, and are you going to look to kind of carry that throughout the rest of your professional career?
100%, yeah. I've never said no to a fight, and I never will. Like, I believe the tougher the opponent across from me is, the better I will perform. And I surround myself. I'm a big believer with whoever you surround yourself with is who you become. So as long as I can surround myself with, you know, the more experienced people, the more talented people, if I can be around them more often, then I can learn from them, because I can always appreciate. I'm very new to this game still, and I've got so much to learn. So I'm taking little bits from different people, and it's all coming together.
Definitely, that's great. And so, well, I mean, you said you've kind of been around the sport of boxing for quite a while now, and what is your kind of main motivation at the moment?
So at the moment, my motivation is all I've ever wanted to do is boxing. Really, you know, growing up as a kid, they always said, "What do you want to do as a career?" And people used to laugh when I said boxing, and now it's come reality. I'm saying people are messaging saying, "Get me some tickets. I want to watch." The only part of it, and you know, I'm happy. I'm happy for that to happen. But yeah, my biggest motivation is I want to be part of the big names of Sheffield boxing, you know, your Carl Brooks, your Prince Nazeems, Tommy Frank, you know, upcoming. So I want to be a part of that section of boxing, really, and I want to make history. And you know, I can see the route in front of me out to take. I want to work my way up slowly. I'm still young, and I can appreciate that. So I want to, you know, get as much experience as I can slowly. I'm not going to rush anything, and I want to work my way up the circuit. I know. You know, realistically, it's not going to be European World Title fight straight away, but eventually I know, my team know I have the ability to do that. Even if I aim to win local, regional belts, and especially the British belt, you know, I like that. So in the next five years, I want to be collecting, really, yeah.
Great. And so, well, you spoke about this upcoming fight you've got for February 18th, and so how's kind of preparations been going for that?
Well, I started camp shortly after Christmas, actually, so I've been straight into it. And, you know, I never really stopped training, even out of camp. I'm always going to run to keep my fitness. So I feel quite natural in a position where I'm in camp now. I don't feel uncomfortable, my weight's nice, I'm fit. So yeah, it's about just getting back into the run of things. This week especially, the intensity's gone up. For sparring has just started this week. So yeah, I feel good, and yeah, camp's settling down. My gym's helping me out 100%, and my team around me, you know, they're not all yes men, and I do believe that is a good thing. I like to be criticised because I can learn from that and I can take lessons. And yeah, so every session I'm getting feedback, and I'm happy to work on that. But yeah, I'm feeling great about it.
Great. And am I right in saying this upcoming fight's also going to be in Sheffield as well?
Yeah, it's correct. So it's going to be at Bramall Lane, the Sheffield United ground, and you know, it's kind of a dream come true, really, because I'm a Sheffield United fan as well. So it's going to be nice. I'm at their stadium, boxing, doing what I love. It's two worlds come together, really.
Definitely. And how much of a boost is kind of being the home fighter and having all this support behind you?
It's amazing, you know. So in the amateurs, I've always been on the road. I've always had to travel for bouts because there's not really been anyone around my weight and experience to box. So now I'm able to box, well, for now locally. I can get these ticket sales in, and like my last fight, I think I could argue that I had the biggest crowd there, I believe, and they spur me on, really. Like, it makes you appreciate all the little things, like you work all this sacrifice in the gym, missing nights out. It's all worth it because in the end, everyone comes together and you realise how much people have your back, and it makes it all worth it, really. All the hard work. It's a big motivation.
Definitely, that's great. And so, for anybody who didn't watch your debut and might be coming to watch this upcoming fight you're having, what would you say kind of makes you interesting as a fighter?
So I believe, well, I take inspiration from different aspects of the sport. So I know, you know, even the ring walk, down to that, you've got to have little details people like to watch. And then in the ring, I've got that Sheffield style. You know, I'm not one to showboat or anything like that, but I've got your classic, your retro style where, you know, it's box. I like to be behind my jab. But, you know, I can easily brawl as well. I'm happy to brawl. But yeah, I'm comfortable, and I'm very unpredictable. Like, people never know what to expect with me, and that's why, you know, I truly believe I'm boxing's best kept secret. I do believe I have that ability to go so much further than anyone's ever going to realise. And yeah, so people should they should watch me because I am what Sheffield. Oh, sorry, yeah. They should watch me because I am boxing, really. You see all these people, they're all told, I'm going to knock this person out. You know, that's not the aim. I like boxing because, you know, you've got to appreciate different styles coming together. You've got to pull people in and then trick them into that. So, yeah, the footwork, especially, my footwork is really appreciated. And I can make people look like idiots, I believe. I can, you know, lure them in, and then I will catch them with big shots. People never see these big shots come in, and when it lands, people do know about it. But I'm not one to rush in. A lot of people rush in as soon as they land a big shot, and they just tangle themselves up. And I can appreciate you've got to take your time, and
That's great. Okay, well, I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Yeah, so my sponsors 100%, so GTR and Son, Moller PCI and New Gen CBD. You know, sponsors should be part of it, and so they're really making it possible for me. And then, you know, just my team, Titans Boxing, my coaches, Graham Dickinson and John Fuchs, they've took me to where I am today, and they're going to take me as far as we can.
Great, okay. Well, maybe a little bit further along down the line, we could come back and possibly do another interview.
Of course, yeah, my pleasure. No problem.
Great, okay. Well, thank you very much for doing this, mate.
Yeah, no worries. It's been fun.
Great, and if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and thanks for watching.